Hello and welcome to another video with Econelastic. I'm Joe.
And I'm Andrew.
So in today's video, we are going to be looking at we're going to be discussing one branch of economics, and there are two branches of economics. So one being micro, which means small, and the one we're going to look in today's video, macro, which means big.
So in this video, we want to introduce you to some of the main concepts discussed in macroeconomics.
Enjoy the video. So macroeconomics is all about the economy as a whole. So we're going to look at aggregate demand and aggregate supply, which is essentially aggregate supply and aggregate demand. So we're going to look at these two, which means just essentially the total demand and total supply.
So aggregate demand refers to the total amount of spending in the economy. So this includes spending from consumers within the economy and spending by consumers outside of the domestic economy, which makes up our exports.
Some examples of our exports include sort of like JCBs, Rolls-Royce engines and stuff like that. And
fighter jets.
Yeah, and we also export a lot of financial services. So in September 2019, the UK made up around 70% of the planet's financial exports.
Which is huge, really, from a relative standpoint. UK is somewhat of a small player, so to make up 17% of global financial services is quite significant.
And considering that's all done probably in a square mile in London.
Yeah. Yeah. Aggregate demand also includes spending by the government. So this is often on things like infrastructure projects, such as building new schools, hospitals, roads and railways.
And finally, spending by firms, which is often referred to as investment. So this is such on, this is on capital, so new office buildings,
machinery.
Machinery, raw materials as well.
Yeah. So aggregate supply is simply the total national output of goods and services.
So if you've seen our intro to economics video, you'll be familiar with the term scarcity. And because of scarcity, societies and countries have two main goals. The first one is to use their resources to the highest potential. And the second one is for the national output to rise steadily over time.
Societies constantly strive for growth and full use of resources. Why we want this to happen, and has this always happened? Well, we're going to go into a couple of examples. There are definitely periods where this is not achieved, and one crucial example that you'll definitely learn about if you're in the midst of an economics degree is the financial crisis, or FC for short.
The reason this was an issue is that human wants are limitless. So when output grows, these wants can be satisfied. So during periods of stagnation in a country's economy, it means that we aren't growing and we're not satisfying our needs. Therefore, society in the country as a whole is worse off.
So these periods of time where resources have not been fully utilised are often accompanied by periods of contraction. And this usually occurs in cycles. And a cycle is a period of growth followed by a period of recession.
Yeah, so a recession is defined as 2 negative quarters of GDP, which is gross domestic product.
And that's the economy actually shrinking in size.
A recession can actually last from 6 months to several years. For example, the Great Depression, which started in 1929, lasted around a decade.
And this process that we've described, these cycles of growth followed by recession, is referred to as the business cycle. And this is a crucial topic in economics, and one that we will cover in a separate video. In general then, macroeconomic issues stem from the balance between aggregate demand and aggregate supply. And the balance between these two affects inflation, the balance of trade, unemployment, recessions, all of which we're going to cover in separate videos.
So macroeconomic policies will look to adjust the balance between aggregate supply and aggregate demand.
And these policies can be in the form of demand side,
which seek to influence the level of spending, which in turn affects production, which then obviously affects prices, which then affects unemployment.
Or supply side,
which aim to influence the level of production. So some examples of this is deregulation and cutting taxes, which basically encourages businesses to produce. Thanks for watching our Econelastic videos. Please check out our other YouTube videos on a range of economic topics. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
Please also check out our website at econelastic.com. The link will be in the description for you. This is where you'll find our step-by-step dissertation writing guide, which is suitable not just for economics, but for a whole host of degree subjects. And it's where you can also book us personally for 2-to-1 tutoring sessions.
See you in the next video.